But also, someone else coming back is the morning show, everybody. The morning show is coming back for season 4. And I actually, I freaking love this show. I think they've done a great job with this show. But this new season is touching on reality more and more. We've been talking about all the time here in Hollywood. Talking about, of course, AI, deepfake, making people come to life that aren't actually there. And they were talking about actually for this whole project that it's going to deal with reality. Like, what do we know? What do we see? What is real? What's not real? Can we believe what we see on TV? Can we believe what we hear on the radio? Can we believe that this person is actually this person? That's the freakiest thing we have. We talk about millions of times on Cruise Control where the future is going. And I think this is just only natural. In this last season, they were doing a lot of political stuff. We don't talk about politics stuff. They're going to that world. And I think that this world, though, is kind of going into what has been very popular in the media and Hollywood, which is, of course, the strikes. We were talking about how we had to figure out a way to save us from AI, keep jobs, bring up raises. And I think this is all part of that game. And it really did affect us a lot, and it's still going to affect us. I was talking about that Sora project coming that's been pitched in the studios that might actually take away a lot of background jobs and could take away a lot of people's work in post-production as well, and also just crew jobs too, because if all of a sudden you can make stuff on a computer, it's done. And I think that with this being
some bold dinky.
It is some bold dinky, Pep Star. But I think bold dinky. But I think with this world right here, I think they're able to be like, okay, we're a new show. We can showcase this better this way. And we are, again, it's Hollywood, so they're very much involved with that. I think that they're able to showcase this through a news media outlet, and it can bring up what's been already talked about over and over again this past year, which is, of course, will we still have our job in the future, or will AI take over and Hollywood will be a thing in the past? That's the question. But we haven't had Joey on here before, so I want to go to Joey on this too. So, this is a big thing. We know it affected your business for sure, right? Joey's list had to be, we were shut down. Like, what do? Do you think that this is going to take away? You made this list to help people in background world, at stand-ins, as doubles. If AI does start doing this, it's going to take away all those jobs or a lot of the jobs. Are you fearful about what this means for the future of Hollywood and even like your business? Because you put so much time in it to help people. It's like, it's got to be a little bit worrisome, right?
I think that is a possibility, but we're still a few years away from that. Just talking with people, even during the strike about the AI stuff, it's definitely possible. Instead of maybe they might have 40 background, they might only need to have 7 or 8 and then go on. But in a way, I hate to say it, that's technology, and even right now hearing some of my talent, my clients, who've been asked to be scanned. I'm sure, Brian, you know a lot too, but those were some of the bigger productions, like some of the bigger ones. And I'm sure as time goes by, it will, probably the process will be done cheaper for them to do that. But I think we're still a few years away from that, but they had to negotiate right now. They had to find, since we are at the beginning of AI, they had to at least do some root. SAG had to put the roots in, of the basics of how it's going to turn out, So I'm glad that, they planted the seeds and they're watering it, but people are just fearful, like this year it's going to happen or next year, if that happens, it's going to be a few years away, but
it's not tomorrow.
And as I tell, and it's not, in the end, also I tell people, it's like, as you say, it's not AI that's taking your jobs away. It's the people who know how to program AI who do that stuff as well.
Very true.
And also let's talk about like when it was film, and they were transitioning to the digital, everyone's like, oh my God, they're taking film away. It's going, to the red digital, and that's how they're doing it. And it didn't really affect people that much, but there was just such, people were just in their head about, how it's going to change and everything. And, I think it will change, but not as drastic, as people are anticipating.
Yeah, people are freaking out about it, thinking it's going to be like all the jobs are gone tomorrow. Again, technology does take jobs away. Things will change. Right, there'll be probably less people eventually. They'll have less. I've been scanned. I was scanned for Ant-Man Quantumania, and that was a whole thing. But I was on a principal contract, so it was a little different. They have it. Residuals were based into that. Different story. That was before all this happened. Because, it's just, but a lot of people doing the background jobs too, they didn't have that. They didn't know it going into it, and they just let themselves scan. And I know that's been a fearful thing.
I say kind of like an Uber driver. How people with the automation driving and stuff like that, people are like, oh, the Uber drivers are going to go away. It's going to take away. It's like, dude, people have been saying that for years. Yes, it's possible. Every year you're getting closer and closer, but, It's not going to happen next month, next year. But in the meantime, you have to just keep in the back of your head, how's it transitioning? How could you be a part of that transition?
Yes.
Stay ahead of the curve.
That was the thing with the Stay on the curve. That was the thing, the Teamsters this year too, of course. There've been the idea or the lingering maybe strike coming forward with that. I know IATSE's been having a bunch of deals coming through, not all of them, but they've been pretty much there. And the Teamsters too are worried about, self-driving trucks for dropping off equipment, setting up camp, all that. And it's like, that's been a worrisome thing. They'll probably have that in the contract, but I feel like that's a long way. I know Elon, again, has something he's working on for self-driving semis, but I feel like that's still like a long way in the future in order for that to happen. But again, it's the same thing. The guidelines
will happen, but yeah, I mean, there's not going to be robots crawling out of the back of the truck to unhaul it. You're still going to need people, and yeah, there's even in the beginning, as they're saying, you're going to have someone sit in the cab, so there's always going to be someone there.
So a driver will still have their job. They'll still be there at like 4 a.m. They're 3 a.m. sitting there and like, but they'll be able to drink their cup of coffee and like be like, drive away, which actually might be very nice for them for a while too. But it's just so far away, I think, at least. I can't wait to see it. I'd love to see like the little Optimus Prime robot, like boop, 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 roll out the back of the car and pull out some equipment. That'd be cool. But I mean, it is fearful for people's jobs in the future. And I know that's a big discussion this past year.
You're damn
We're going to keep
right.
having that discussion. Right, Pepstar? We're going to keep having this discussion. It's not going to end tomorrow. Which is not. And we're going to have it in 3 years for the next contract negotiation. And it just sucks that we have to do this, but it's just the future. It's just technology. What was it tough for you during the strike, Joey? Were you able to still survive and float, or how did it go for you? But we were like almost 6 months, something like that.
I was shut down. I was able to float. I think at the very beginning, with the rider strike in May, I was able to float, for a little bit. There was still some features going on. I was getting calls, but I think once, I'd say about July, it was done. What do I do? So I talked about what I said a minute ago. Was I just picked up the car keys and I Uber drive for a little bit. Just kept my sanity. And I just drove Uber because no one's going to hire me, or I'm not going to start. I'm going to go back to doing what I love, Joey's List, as soon as it's over. But none of us realized how long it was going to be. So I just drove and drove and drove and learned how to reconnect with people, strangers.
That's cool.
My thing.
And it's a great environment. You meet a lot of people doing that too. A lot of people, and you get to have fun. It's like new experiences, and you can play different characters too. I know you used to do some little dabble in the background in the acting world a little bit. You could be like different characters. Everybody be like, I'm going to be this guy today. I'll be this guy tomorrow. Kind of fun. It's kind of fun. I know people that do that.
Yeah, it was cool, But it shut me down, and I had to find something to do, And that was I'll drive Uber. I can pick and go whenever I wanted to, and it worked out for me.
It's great. Well, I'm happy you're able to float again, because you've helped a lot of people out. I know you can help a lot more people out. They're just moving here tomorrow or been here for years. I have no idea. I had a friend recently that was just like, he didn't even know what an availability list or calling service was. I'm like, you've never heard of this dude? You've been here for like 4 years. And I was like, you gotta go to Joey. You gotta go to Joey. And he's like, oh, and I'm like, you gotta go to Joey, man. He'll take care of you. But yeah, I hope that you're able to keep going because again, one of the best one. You are the best one out there. Everyone always. I remember when I first moved here, everybody was like, "You gotta go to Joey," and I still will say that because it was awesome. So, I'm happy you're still floating. And you're able to get by, and I know you're gonna keep going. Keep going. Thanks, man. Yeah. Ron, as our overloads,
never ever give up.
You can't give up. Like that's what we're doing here. We're figuring things out, trying new things, and having a good time in the process. So that's all we can do. Keep going. Ron, our overlords coming here, the AI, are they taking over? Is the morning show able to actually show? Are they the platform to showcase this, Ron? Are they the people to make the impact in the world and let them know we got to watch out for AI?
God, this is going to go on with me because I've got so. I was like, here we go. Respectfully, you say it's a long time in the future until it's not. It's like, whoa, where did that 7 years go? And now my ass isn't protected. And why is this car driving without seatbelts? It's a frightening, and I'm not a doom of gloom guy. You know that, Brian. But it's just from what I see, and I consider myself a good listener, and my eyes, I'm very visual. And I was looking at an ad on Instagram, and it was Jennifer Aniston talking about no surgery, cosmetic surgery for your face. And she's just throwing all of these actors in it. I'm just like, well, this is very weird that J-Lo has signed off on this. But I'm listening to the voice, and the voice was not Jennifer Aniston. It kept dipping at the end. It didn't come up like she does, perky. It just kept dipping. And I'm like, this is fucking AI. So I go into the comments, and about 20% of the people realized it was AI. So that was a bit kind of eye-opening. And then as far as he's distracting. As far as as far as morning show, which I love, I just thought about yes, they are definitely the show to tackle something like this. What if they tackle the character in the show that is actually AI, and then it's revealed? And because they have all these spins, and they're so suspenseful because it's done so well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, because right behind Courtney Cox for me is Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, is it a Friends thing then, Ron? Is it a Friends thing?
Totally a Friends thing. Yes, absolutely.
We're finding out more and more about this as we've done the show, more and more with you about your crushes, your loves, your Hollywood loves, I should say.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want more.
Peppy wants more too. Yeah, yes. I think that might be they've been able to push the barriers on this show too. It's like Apple TV Plus is like one of their first programs too.
Yeah.
And it's a big machine that just keeps moving the ideas and their values forward. And I think that they have great casts, and honestly, that'd be kind of cool if they had an AI character on this and they were able to like bring it out and maybe fire it. I don't know. But you'd have to make sure if they're doing that on a TV show, you have to make sure there's an actor hired to play that part as well. And they both trade off so that they're not taking a job away with an AI character, because that will happen.
I think it would just be a written AI character. It would be an actor for shooting today. But I don't know. That just sounds like something. They'd be the type of show that could actually handle that and get away with it, because their stuff last year just blew me away with John Hamm. It blew me away.
It had a little bit of Elon Musk vibes in there too. Taking it back to Elon tonight.
Just like what's his name, who's long gone and forgotten from NBC, who was fired.
Chuck Lorre?
Cuomo?
Chuck Lorre?
Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer. Yeah, that's Matt Lauer.
Steve Carell played brilliantly.
That was his whole character.
That's what that show's all about.
You make me laugh, man. You crazy. You make me laugh.
Their whole COVID thing was brilliant with Jennifer, with COVID.
Yeah, they touch on a lot of these things. So I'm interested to see how they bring this forward. And again, it's a big topic that we're going to be talking about forever, I think, until it takes over. But that's a long time down the road. So we'll keep talking about it. Jake, what do you think? Morning show? Is it going to be a great new season? Is this good news for Apple TV Plus members that they're going to be delving into the AI stuff? Or again, you don't want to hear this stuff anymore. You're sick of hearing about AI.
I don't know. The AI thing is going to be a little bit like it's going to be able to do a lot of stuff, but we just can't forget that it's still a human that programmed all this. So until the AI is actually thinking for itself, which I don't think it'll ever actually be able to do, we'll just have to, like you said, keep talking about it, because it will replace certain jobs. And it's going to make, it's going to make the industry more accessible to different people, but at the same time, it's going to close doors for some people. So
I like that way of looking at it.
I don't know. It would just going to have to grow with it. Just like the people who raised horses in the 17th, 18th, when horses were going by the wayside for the cars, and
cars took over.
There's always a transition, and it's always muddy, but it's
always hard.
At the end of it, people are still going to be working. They might just not be working in the same place,
That's true. That's a rational way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just adapt. We adapt. Mm-hmm. We're human beings. We always adapt. We find a way.
Yes.
And I think that, artists and creators always will have a part, because that's what this is. It's a craft. It's an art. And I know we'll have like AI movies eventually that'll be all AI, but there'll still be people that have to make the AI learn and figure it out. And there'll be different jobs that have to be there. We can't have this, fearsome worry about the world be ending soon with AI and all our jobs be gone. That's what I think about, Jake. We have opportunities. Anything that scares you about AI, Joey, before we move on? Anything that you was like, that's on your mind about AI?
No, I mean, I'm kind of embracing it. I've been watching it since 2020, and does as I said, it's the people behind AI, not AI itself. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm watching everything and just seeing what's going to happen, But
Yeah, I love the technology. Technology is great. I love it so much. I think a lot of us do, and it can make our jobs easier. That's great, and our lives easier. Awesome. And we just have to learn to grow with it and figure it out. And I'm keep watching too. We'll keep watching, and it will affect the business more and more, but hopefully, again, in a positive way.